I never really had a father. I never met him. My mother, she had a lot of drug problems when I was younger. I didn't feel like I belonged to anyone, so whatever actions I did didn't really affect me. I learned to accept myself by just realizing the things I like to do or the person I am. I grew up in Hunters Point, and that was a really hard neighborhood. I had to experience lots of fighting, lots of drugs. I saw a lot of things. But I also was on my own a lot. When I was younger, I never really got a lot of parental guidance. Everything I kind of knew was on my own, or I learned from my friends or from adults in the hood. One of my very first altercations in elementary school was with this bully named Ramel, and he used to mess with me every single day, and one day I just had enough and I went off of him. I was in first grade, and that was the first real fight I ever got in, and when I went home, my mom was like, good job, wonderful, he deserved it. And that was the first appreciation I ever got from my mom. And from there, I started doing even worse in school. I started flipping tables, getting in more fights. The staff there had hands-on training or whatever, so when I did act out, I would get dropped. So that made me even worse. That made me want to fight back more. And from there, I got moved to a group home where it wasn't any different. That's how I had to survive in the beginning. I got in a lot of fights. It wasn't because I wanted to, it was just because, well, if you did it, you get your ass kicked. The other person could care less. They had nothing to lose. And I was in a situation where I had nothing to lose. I was in a group home. My grandma visited me once a week, but that wasn't even enough. I didn't see my mom for years. So I would say I was lost. Lost in the sense that I didn't know where to go, who to be, or what to become. I had no belonging. I didn't feel like I belonged to anyone, so whatever actions I did didn't really affect me.
The situations we're in when we're younger will shape how we react to things later in life, because we adapt to our early life environment in order to survive. And then as we get older, we keep reacting the same way, even though the situation might be different, because that's all our brain knows how to do. We develop these fixed beliefs about the way things are, and we keep responding to the world as if those same things are true. Like, I need to do this in order to be loved, or people are always going to treat me this way, because that's what we experienced when we were younger.
I never viewed it as depression. I never viewed it as me being sad. It's just a time that it was just something I had to deal with at the moment. I realized the world was mean, and that's how you get back what you put out. In order to make it far in this world, you sort of have to play by the game, not be the game, but play by the game, and you have to be mean yourself. For me, observing that kind of taught me, well, words are actually a very powerful thing. It could really hurt someone. I was more mean because I felt like what I had was gonna get taken away. How people viewed me at the moment was their views were gonna change. If the person would have came at me and I just stuck on my words and just didn't know what to say, then I would have looked stupid, and people would have maybe people would have stopped caring about me.
Now, we haven't all had situations as hard as Chris has when we were younger, but we've all developed brain patterns in order to adapt to our family environment. So we might have learned to cry or yell to get our needs met. We might have learned to be quiet to avoid confrontation. We might have learned to be nice to everyone so that people would like us. And none of these are better or worse than the other ones. They're just different versions of ways that our mind has adapted in order to keep us safe when we were younger. We all have unhelpful brain patterns. It's literally impossible not to. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with us, it's just what brains do. But if we can be honest about them and start looking at them and noticing them, they don't have such a hold on us anymore. And then we can actually choose to change them or form new patterns that are more helpful for us.
People are afraid to accept and admit their wrongful doings. And that's hard, that is painful. It is one of the hardest things to do. Once I realized how deeply and how sincere people took my words for, I was really surprised people took my words sincerely. That's when I learned, just by observing, that the way I communicate to other individuals is way more powerful than anything else. I just realized what was wrong with my actions and what wasn't. In order to have a good life, you have to be the most honest with yourself and the most honest with people. And the people who can't handle those honesty will go away. But also when you're the most honest, you start bringing in the best people in your life, the people who do care about you, who accept you for the person you are.
This kind of change always starts by accepting ourselves and finding out who we really are deep down and what we actually care about. And only then can we figure out how to be nice and kind and accepting of other people.
In order to become wise, you have to surrender to the universe. You kind of have to realize you aren't nothing. I learned to accept myself by just realizing the things I like to do or the person I am. Just to look at yourself as your own magnificent, marvelous individual. Music was something I kind of learned how to express myself, how to really tell a story. It taught me that I'm playing a song right now, right here. Why should everyone else be listening? Why is my song worth anyone else's time? And it's only worth anyone else's time if I bring my true self behind it, if I bring my true emotions behind it. And baseball was always something that I knew if I tried harder, I could earn my position. It was just something that was really rewarding that kept me going. I try to be nice to everyone. I try to look at everyone with a smile and be my best self for everyone, because at the end of the day, what I went through isn't anyone's problem. I am very grateful for I know I've seen some pretty awful things. I've done some pretty awful things. I've met some people who've done awful things. If it wasn't for the bad, I wouldn't know what good is. If it wasn't for the bad, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Those are the days you look back at and see how far you've come.